Our lesson today is the distributive property and combining like terms. We are starting chapter 2. So let's go and first talk about the definition. What is the distributive property? So anybody want to give me their, what do you think? Yeah.
You distribute a number outside the parentheses to the numbers inside the parentheses.
When you distribute a number on the outside of the parentheses to the numbers inside the parentheses. That's perfect. So distribute is another way of saying like pass out or make sure that the number on the outside goes and gets multiplied by the numbers on the inside. So the distributive property is multiplying, so you guys can see my words that I'm writing, multiplying the number on the outside by the numbers inside the parentheses. Oh, and I wrote an N, with an M. Numbers inside the parentheses. So you might have to write small. I don't know if there's enough space. All right, so we're going to jump to example 1. They'll start off really easy, okay? So there's a 2 on the outside. There's an x plus 5 inside parentheses. So the number on the outside, the 2, gets multiplied by the x, gets multiplied by the 5. I make little hoops, I call them. So it makes sure that I remember the 2 gets multiplied by the x. The plus sign goes in the middle, so it's 2x. Plus sign goes in the middle, and then it's 2 times 5. So I just do 2 times 5 in my head, 10. Now, 2 has an x, 10 does not have an x. They are not like terms. So they can't be combined. You just leave it like that, and you're done. Example number 2. Just kind of put them and organize it however you want on your paper. Now, I have an x at the end, but it's still on the outside of the parentheses. That's the key thing. It's on the outside. It gets multiplied by the x and by the negative 4. Please notice that that is a negative 4. All right. X times x. X times x. X squared. Put the subtraction sign in the middle. X times 4. I'm never going to say x4. It's always the number first and then the variable. 4x. Okay? X squared looks different than 4x. I'm not going to combine them. I'm going to leave them separate. Okay, going on to example 3. Okay, distribute negative 3 times x, and then the negative 3 times 4. What is negative 3 times x? Negative 3x. What is negative 3 times a positive 4? Negative 12. So that means that I just leave it like that. Okay. Example 4. There's just a negative sign out front. Okay. Well, the negative sign goes to the 6, and the negative sign, it's like, you guys, a negative 1. So I'm going to write it 6 minus 3x. So it's like a negative 1. But the main point is that negative sign needs to change the signs of the numbers in the parentheses. Negative 1 times 6. Good. What's a negative 1 times a negative 3x? Positive 3x. Okay. So far, so good. Any questions? Then what is it? You said yes. I heard someone say C. All right. No? You're all good? Okay. The negative 9x is the thing that's alone. That's what you're going to distribute. Multiply it times the x, and then multiply that times the negative 1. All right. Negative 9x times x. This is even worth writing. Negative 9x times x is what?
Negative 9x squared.
Negative 9x squared. And then the next distributing is a negative 9x times a negative 1. Positive 9x. So you're going to put plus 9x. This, I don't have any like terms to combine, so this that I circled in blue is my final answer.
So
That's
would
it.
X to the power 2 be unlike? Like it wouldn't be like.
They are not like terms.
Okay.
This is x to the second power, and the other one is x to the first power. Okay, what does it mean to combine like terms? I have a little bit of a fun way to teach this. Okay, so combining like terms means, in basics, words, putting together common numbers or variables. Okay? I call them backpacks. And here's what I mean. You have plain old numbers. So like 2, negative 6, 8. I describe that as the people around school that just carry their folders in their hand. So they don't have a backpack on. There's nothing attached to them. They're just a person. They're just the number. They're by themselves. All right. They just carry their folder around. And then we have the people that wear backpacks. You know, like 3G and negative 8G. Those two guys have the same backpack on. Maybe it's like Jansport backpack. And then like a 4X and a 1X. Those are, you know, Herschel backpacks. Okay. So they have a backpack on, and they hang out with each other. People that wear backpacks on their backs hang out with other people that wear backpacks on their backs. Because they have the same thing attached to them. The same variable. They both have a G, or they both have an X. Then there's the special backpacks. These are the backpacks that they roll. So they're rolling down, they carry them on their back, they roll through campus. These are like X squareds. They're special. They hang out with only people that have rolly backpacks. Okay? There's no backpack on their back. There's this extra special thing, there's wheels, a handle, X squareds. It can also be, you know, like 7x squared and x squared. They're going to hang out together because they both have the rolly backpacks. Yeah. And then it could be even higher. I mean, you could go r to the 4th power and negative 6r to the 4th power. Those guys are going to hang out because they have the same backpack, r to the 4th. You have to match up the backpacks to put numbers together. Okay? Important. So that's my backpack. All right? So now I'm going to move on. And let's talk about example 6, where we're going to be combining like terms. We're going to be combining backpacks. I would happily let you use like colors if you want. Okay? So like, if you want to circle all the A's, or maybe you want to do like a zigzag line. You guys don't have like all the colors that I have, but whatever. You just do a zigzag line for the B's. And then maybe you want to do like a downward spiral for the negative 5 and the negative 2. It's in lime green. I'm sorry if you can't see it. It's probably a bad idea to choose lime green, right? Okay, so now only the things that are matching go together. Let's start off always with, okay, we go alphabetical order. We go, numbers go at the end. So I'm going to start off with 3a and negative 4a. What is a 3a and then a negative 4? Just add the numbers, a 3 and a negative 4. Negative 1a. Good. Now I'm going to go to b's. Okay, I got a 1b. This is a 1b right here. And then there's a negative 3b. I zigzagged them. A positive 1 and a negative 3. 1 minus 3. 1 minus 3. Negative 2b. And let me pick another green that's like a little more dark. Dark, 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 dark. How do I get dark? Maybe there? I don't know. Anyways, I got a negative 5, a negative 5, and a negative 2. Together they make negative 7. That is my final answer. Negative 1a minus 2b minus 7. Right? You're done. Don't do anything else. Okay, go on to example 8. Or example 7, excuse me. Okay, so, things that are alike, underline them, or zigzag, or circle, or put a star above it. Whatever your little heart feels like doing, you just do. So I'm going to do, rolly backpacks. There's 3 of them, 3x squared. And then there's another negative 7x squareds. They're all going to hang out. Rolly backpacks hanging out together. Okay, what's a positive 3 and a negative 7? Negative 4, and you need to do your x squared. Keep the backpack the same. The backpacks don't ever change. It's not going to become an x to the 4th. The backpacks stay. Then maybe I got my, I'll like box, 4x and 2x. I put red boxes around them. So these are guys that just have backpacks on their backs. And they walk around just, 4x plus 2x is what? Okay. Oh, loner, you guys, how sad. So sad for the negative 8. He has no one to hang out with. And he's just going to be there all by himself carrying his folder. Wah, wah, wah. You are done. We're moving on. Example 8. Ooh, distribute and combine like terms. Crazy. Distribute this first. Okay? Negative 2 times a 4 and then a negative 2 times an x. And rewrite it with my new distributed numbers. 3 minus 8, negative 2 times 4, minus 8. And then negative 2 times x, negative 2x. Are there any like terms that are going to hang out together? 3 and 8, the guys that just carry their folders around, just plain old numbers. They become a negative 5. They go together. And the negative 2x has no one to hang out with. I want you to write this in the proper form and order, which means that variables will go first. There is a negative sign in front of that too. Keep the negative sign there. Don't just forget about it. So your real proper answer is negative 2x, and then there's a negative sign in front of the 5. Don't just forget about it, minus 5. This is the best answer. This is the answer that I want to see after you've combined your like terms. Okay, number 9. Okay, I've got to do some distributing, right? Did I miss one, you guys? Am I good all on track? Okay. All right. Once I've distributed, here's what I get. The 4w squared just stays. Now, negative w times 2w. Negative w, it's like a 1w, right? Negative 1 times 2, but it's w times w. So all of a sudden, I'm going to have a negative 2w squared. And then a negative 1w times negative 3. Negative 1w times a negative 3. Positivo what? 3. There's more. W, don't forget. The only things that I can combine are my rolly backpack w squareds. 4, take away 2. And you leave it just like that. All right. So now we're going to practice some more combining like terms and distributive property.